And we are live Wednesday afternoon here at Dog is Good in California. He moved his camera, but Alan Cook, who's our guest, just had a shot of this beautiful sunrise out your window. I don't know if you saw that. I noticed that. Gorgeous. He is joining us from Chicago right now, so 3 hours forward at about 7 o'clock your time.
Oh, 6 here in Chicago.
Oh, 6. Okay, we're only
great.
Okay. Great. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I love this new time because I'm hoping that it really gets more people on board. And this is going to be a really fun conversation. There is nothing I love more than talking to super inspiring people, but especially entrepreneurs who are incredibly innovative. And I think you guys are going to love this product, but also Alan's story. While we are getting ready to get launched here, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Gila Kurtz. I am one of the co-founders and co-owners of Dog is Good, which is a lifestyle brand for dog lovers. And this week, we are doing a week-long contest that you guys absolutely want to enter because the pricing is phenomenal. And we're going to do it a little differently, though. So this week, we're going to be giving away an ultimate puppy package, which is going to include the Brilliant Pad, which you're going to get all caught up on and educated on in our conversation today. And then also a Dog is Good puppy kit, too. So you have to go to the Instagram page, follow the directions there. They're very easy. And this contest will be running from the 15th through the 22nd. Just also want to remind you, as you are popping in, I always love to know who you are, where you're from, your dog, all those good things. So please feel free to just say hello and introduce yourself. And one other thing that I want to mention too is we typically will announce winners in our private lifestyle group. So if you are not a member there currently, you can go over to Dog is Good Lifestyle Group on Facebook and be part of our worldwide community there. And then something I am always personally passionate about, and apparently many of you are as well, and that is fur-covered wisdom. So if you can raise your hand and say, yes, my dog totally inspires me, then you probably want a little weekly dose of inspiration from your favorite pup or pups every week in your inbox. And Soup will provide the link here and want to encourage you to sign up for that. They have a lot of great knowledge and great insights, and it definitely can shift you and your week ahead. Just getting these notes from your very own dog that come to you every Monday. So that is that. Well, okay, so I want to introduce our guest. Before I give our bio, I want to say that I met him and his crew at a trade show and was blown away by this product. Like, it's so innovative. It's just the coolest thing. And I just see so many variables and uses. But just in our brief conversation prior, learning about, like a little bit how your mind thinks, Alan, as an inventor and as a problem solver and as an entrepreneur, and also in giving back, leaving a legacy of future product developers that make a difference. You know, it's just, everything comes full circle. So I love that. But you guys are going to really, really like this product. So anyway, let me introduce Alan, our guest first. Thank you so much for joining us. Alan created the world's first self-cleaning dog potty. How awesome is that? It's called Brilliant Pad. He also appeared on the ABC's television show Shark Tank recently, a year ago almost, in November of 2017. So we'll have a fun conversation around that experience. I don't know how many of you out there is addicted to that show as I am, but really fun. Dogs go potty on Brilliant Pad like a regular puppy pad. Then Brilliant Pad wraps and seals the pet waste, keeps the home clean and odor-free. Messy and smelly is replaced with clean and fresh. So that's the whole innovation around this really cool product. Mr. Cook was named inventor on 20 patents and winner of the IDSA International Design Excellence Award, the Red Dot Design Award, Good Design Award, and Spark Design Award. So needless to say, he is fully decorated as a brilliant inventor and designer. And he's absolutely passionate about making innovative and useful products that improve people's lives and pets who love them as well. So welcome, Alan. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and this is going to be a fun conversation.
It is. Okay. So I want to just first start in the conversation around you as a serial entrepreneur. How did you just enter? What prompted your entry into the world of entrepreneurship?
You know, it started probably being as a little kid with having a uh, hyperactive imagination, playing with Legos, closing one's eyes, and just trying to build something cool and fun, and then tearing it down just to do it again. And as I progressed through school and made my way into like my professional career, the idea of playing with Legos has been a constant, except the game changed from colored bricks of plastic to some combination of money, technology, and people. But the goal is exactly the same, to combine those things in a unique and interesting way to make something that's really compelling.
Cool. So I know you didn't start off in the pet space. Tell me some of the cool products that you started innovating right out of the gate in terms of technology and um, basically your initial products that you launched.
Like my path, I came out of school like with background in both like engineering and finance. I worked at a strategy consulting firm, and I was simply the spreadsheet guy crunching numbers in the corner. And while I worked with wonderfully smart people, it wasn't a good fit because I enjoyed the process of creating stuff, and I wasn't doing that. So I worked with a friend, and the company was developing educational software. They were one of the first internet companies to go public over about 25 years ago. And over the next 10 to 15 years, I played a role in creating more educational software, video security systems, and even a healthcare monitoring service for senior citizens that live at home alone. Um, and in all cases, were really interesting applications of technology to solve really hard problems that some way, somehow would make people's lives better. And all of that kind of converged until I had the encounter with my then girlfriend's dirty litter box. Because this woman, she was wonderful. But dating her meant you also would date the cats and also take care of the litter box. And we had an awesome arrangement, equitable division of labor. She would cook dinner, I would do the dishes, we clean the apartment down the middle, except her cats, therefore her litter box, and that's just the way that it was, and life was good until we got to that one time she wasn't able to clean it. So I was a good boyfriend. I grabbed a handheld shovel. I was doing all those things you do. And I kind of cleaned the litter box under protest and said, honey, I love you. I'm just never going to do this again.
Right.
And being the inventor, gadget kind of guy, I'm like, there's got to be something out there that cleans itself so I don't have to deal with this mess again. And I found something, and I was really excited. But I read the reviews that the reviews weren't so good, and that really bothered me. And that's kind of how I made my way from just inventing technology-driven products in general to something specific in the pet industry.
So cool. So what was the product that you actually turned out to help with the cat litter?
So we eventually created what became the scoop-free automatic self-cleaning litter box. It wasn't the first self-cleaning litter box, but it's generally regarded today as both the best-selling and best-performing self-cleaning litter box for cats. And it was all born out of a personal experience of not wanting to have to deal with the mess and the waste and the smell, and create something that can work reliably and be both healthy and convenient for both the human and the animal. And it was a wild ride because it took us 4 years from having an idea of, hey, let's go create this product, to actually having a product that was available for sale in retail stores.
That is so fascinating. You're hitting on so many points that I just want to point out that I pay attention to when you're speaking on this subject matter, and that is first and foremost what you said earlier about being the spreadsheet analyst, numbers guy, and you're good at it, but maybe it doesn't necessarily fuel your soul, right? And you always know when you're out of alignment, not doing something that you're totally meant to be doing. And that you found this outlet in creativity, bringing you back to your days playing Lego and how It just fueled your mind and your energy, and that just puts you in a different space. And then all that, I guess, self-satisfaction in really making change and difference in terms of education and support of senior citizens and making their lives easier with that software product. But then being in this relationship with the cat litter as the elephant, I guess to say, and noting that there's got to be a better way. So here's the thing that I want to point out. You saw that there was a challenge. You knew that you could come up with an idea, but that's where a lot of people stop, right? They might have this idea and then they don't move forward. What was it about you that called you into action, into creating prototypes and going through the process of product development and getting it to market? Why you? Like, what personality, or you know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that some people just don't do it and then say later, oh God, I had that idea, I wish I had pursued that?
Well, I think it's a combination. I mean, I think it's a combination of a lot of characteristics. I don't think there's a specific magic formula. I don't think it's because I'm either so smart or so capable. But there was an element of curiosity. Like it really was. First off, it's like, why? No, does something exist? And if I found something and it didn't work, the bigger question is, well, why not? It seems like it would. It seems like a good idea. So, what problems does this other solution have? Where is it falling short? And what do people want? So, I mean, I think, in the first few months after having the idea, um, I remember going to the grocery store instead to go interview people that are buying kitty litter and buying cat food to just really understand what is the problem itself. And in some weird way, I think that's a lot of fun. So I think a lot of it's fueled by curiosity to understand really just what is the problem. The second thing is, I think that there's something of a beginner's mindset. It's not that I'm a product development expert. It's more of what are all the different ways to solve the problem. I don't think I jumped into this is the solution. It was more about what are all the possible solutions. Maybe we do it this way. Maybe we do it that way. So I think it was casting a wide net before going narrow and specific. I think there was an element of a lot of trial and error. We tried a lot of stuff, and most of it didn't work. But each time we create.
So sorry, it looks like we're having a little bit of challenge here.
Uh-oh, I see you. I'm going to sit tight. Can you hear me or see me?
Not sure if everybody can see or hear.
Okay. So is this we're having technical difficulties?
So Alan, you keep talking because I have everything frozen on my screen. I apologize.
Okay.
But okay, good. It's working fine for you guys. That's great. I'm just going to have Alan keep talking, and I apologize if I interrupt you, Alan. I'll ask a question, but my system is frozen right now. So please keep sharing about the product and then how also it led to Brilliant Pad.
Yeah. But I think, in terms of creating the product, I think the biggest takeaway that was helpful to creating Scoop Free as well as then later on Brilliant Pad was working through an iterative process where we tried a lot, we tested a lot, things did not work, or every time we would solve, it was a little bit of a dance and a jitterbug. We take a couple steps forward, a couple steps back, and we went back and forth many times until we got it right. And I think that's the biggest thing that kind of helped us along the way was simply being persistent to work through the challenges in order to get it right. Being persistent to
Got it. Okay, so I have you on Stephanie's phone.
Okay.
This way I can talk to you because everything's frozen on my screen and I don't want to touch the platform and cut us both off. Um, so let's talk about Brilliant Pad. I'd love for you to do a demonstration of how this works.
Cool. So, after solving the litter box for the cats, it's a weird thing to become experts in handling, pet waste. And it's really simple. We have lots and lots of animals in our life, and they pee and poop plenty. And, it's our passions is trying to make that mess go away. So we created Brilliant Pet after working with a number of veterinarians who were sharing stories of their own personal experience and their customers and their clients saying they were sick and tired of coming home to find puppy pads like thrown all over the apartment. And I was surprised because I thought puppy pads were just for puppies. And it turns out in people that live in condos and apartments, a lot of people use puppy pads throughout the entire life of their small dog. Because little dogs have little bladders and they go all the time. And people use pads because they're convenient and it can hold the dog over. If the dog has to go at that very moment and you're not there, the dog won't have to get uncomfortable holding it in, and then there's a place to go until you're able to kind of take him outside to exercise and socialize and do all the other things that you do. The problem with the puppy pads is, congratulations, you're picking up a dirty diaper after each use. So we created, let's see if I can get this here. We created a Brilliant Pad, which is, as you mentioned earlier, it's the world's first automatic self-cleaning dog potty. It's for dogs up to 25 pounds. So that's roughly half of all of households with dogs. And dogs go on it just like they would a regular pad. And if you pour something on, we can see how everything gets soaked up and absorbed. The machine can handle the liquids and the solids. And inside this paper, which is really thin, there's also all the material you'll find in a diaper or a panty liner or even just a regular puppy pad that soaks up all the liquids and begins not only to dry out the solids but absorb all the bits and pieces that cause the odor. And even though I just poured this a few seconds ago, the outside here is already dry, so it absorbs very quickly and it is rapidly dry to the touch. And this whole thing is has a motor. And on this motor unit, we have some buttons and some controls. And we have a timer that the machine can advance automatically 1, 2, or 3 times a day. If we look at this light over here, we see it's flashing because there's a sensor. We know when the dog is on the machine or when the dog leaves. We can see that it's flashing when my hand is there. It stops flashing when my hand goes away. Or I can just press a button to absorb it, to roll everything up, and everything ends up right here underneath that little cover. And what's cool about it is everything yucky and dirty gets wrapped up over here. So everything, there goes the phone. So, everything dirty is wrapped inside the roll while the outside is clean and dry. And this roll is equivalent to 27 pads. So you don't have to throw away or handle the dirty pad after each use. If you advance the pad once a day, the roll lasts about a month. And if you advance the pad twice a day, you get about 2 weeks. So again, the dog uses it just like a regular pad. Everything gets soaked up and wrapped up. And then either according to the adjustable timer or when you press the button, everything gets wrapped and sealed inside. So all the yucky stuff is inside that roll, and the outside is clean and dry. So there's nothing funky fouling up the odor in your house. So, and then after the roll is used up, eventually the roll is discarded in the trash. And the way the roll comes out, it's really easy. You just grab it, you lift it, and the whole thing goes away, including
I love this. It is
the caps
so
on the
brilliant.
end. You, you don't have to worry about anything yucky spilling out the sides because the ends are capped and sealed. So everything stays inside the roll. And those caps, they look really strong, but guess what? They're also really friendly because they're biodegradable. So when you throw this thing away, those caps that look chunky, they actually they're biodegradable. And we just got our lab tests back. They more than 75% has gone away within the first 12 months. So not only is this convenient, you look at the extra bits that make disposal easy are actually good for the environment too.
Wow, I am blown away. I seriously, like, this is to me one of the most, I can see why you call it brilliant. It is literally the most brilliant pad ever. And the cool thing about it, I mean, you have totally hit on every key area in terms of odor elimination and eco-friendly, ease of use. And I can see it being something that is also good for apartment dwellers, right? And condo dwellers. I mean, not just for puppies, but people who have difficulty in gaining access to the outdoors, with ease. Are you selling a lot in those different verticals as well?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's perfect for those people living in condos and apartments because, as you say, you don't have as easy access to the outside. You can't just open a door and run out into the backyard. So, especially if the small dog has to go in the middle of the night, or in urban environments, you don't have as many places to take your dog. There certainly is a lot of convenience and flexibility provided by Brilliant Pad. We find a lot of people. We have a bunch of customers that all customers of all ages, and I love getting emails from some of our older customers saying how it provides them with freedom and flexibility. They can take care of their pet all by themselves. They don't have to rely on someone else taking them outside. Um, and the other thing is people just live busy lives. And there are times you get stuck, you're at work a little bit longer than you would prefer. A social engagement runs late. Various things happen. And Brilliant Pad provides an option for the dog to hold them over until you get home to then, to take them out, to exercise and socialize, do all the other things that you do. But it provides an extra measure of freedom and flexibility. And also contributes to like hygiene and comfort, that you don't have to get uncomfortable from holding it in for a long time.
Fantastic. Now, where can people purchase this product? Where can they find it?
So currently the product is available on our website at brilliantpad.com. We also have a store on Amazon. So if you have Prime delivery, things will show up pretty much in the next day or two. It's currently also at Chewy, and we have a couple other big pet retailers that we've just got set up. So there'll be expanded distribution throughout the winter. But when in doubt, for really the best deals and the easiest service is to come directly to brilliantpad.com.
Very good. Okay, cool. So we'll put that in the notes. And by the way, I'm very aware we have a slight delay between you and me. So thank you for just patiently waiting for me to appear as though I'm talking. What I wanted to ask now too was let's talk about the Shark Tank. Everybody loves that show. Everybody wants to know about it. I'm going to ask a series of questions and then turn it over to you to answer. First, I'd love to know how you got on the show. Secondly, I would like to know what that experience was like for you, which was your favorite shark, and why, and then what was your greatest takeaway from that experience? What did you learn, and what value did you walk away with in terms of knowledge and growth of your business as it creates awareness among the consumer base just by being on the show?
Awesome. So we'll talk. So we'll talk about a few things. At first, in terms of how we got on the show, um, there's an application process. I learned 40,000 people apply each year for about 100 spots. And some of the show's producers reach out to companies. So we did a crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo about a year and a half ago. And we did that so we can get feedback from people on the product. And it was a tremendous amount of research and user input into the creation of Brilliant Pad. One of the Shark Tank producers saw our crowdfunding campaign and sent me an email that said, "Your product looks really interesting. Think has the potential to do well on Shark Tank. Have you ever considered applying to be on the show?" And we thought it was a joke, but we returned a phone call anyway, and it turned out to actually be legit. And we were encouraged to fill out the applications and apply. And I have to say, we're fairly lucky. From the time that we sent in our application to being selected, to getting flown to Los Angeles and being in front of all the sharks, happened fairly quickly. And we learned that people of all backgrounds apply to be on the show and are actually on the show. In our case, even though we had experience with another pet product company, I thought maybe that would disqualify us from consideration. And actually turned out to be a huge benefit. It gave us a great deal of credibility. That we were a little nervous going in, that often you see contestants or people appearing on the show asking for putting really high valuations on their company. The sharks ask about their revenue, and there's something of a disconnect. And we were a bit nervous that we were early. We just did a crowdfunding campaign. Our revenue was relatively small. But because of our experience and prior success in this category, the Q&A had a very different, it was really about what did we learn along the way? What were the experiences and challenges that we had with our last company? How do we apply that to be successful with our current one? So the big takeaway from the experience was you see roughly 10 minutes on TV. But I was in the studio for about an hour, and we spent a lot of time talking about financials and technical stuff, very important to the shark making an investment decision in the company, but did not make it onto like national TV. The other thing that was really surprising is you watch the show, so you feel like you know everybody because you've seen them on TV for years. And even though you're in the studio for the very first time, it's oddly familiar. And part of you's like, oh my God, there's the 5 chairs, and there's this, and there's that. And it was just kind of, it was awesome. It was a little bit surreal. And I think the biggest surprise was when, after I do my pitch, the only thing that's scripted is, you rehearse your name and where you're from. Like, you want to make sure you get that intro pitch really, really good. And then after that, it's like, it's kind of open season. Anything goes. The sharks don't know anything about you or your company prior to setting foot on the stage. Even though there's an application process and other things that you go through, the sharks are really learning about you and your product and your company for the first time. And they take it very seriously. They want to capture the sense of their discovery and exploration with the same people that are watching at home. So, like, if you were to walk on the set, like, I had a little trailer, just a little space, but there was a little piece of tape, and it did not say Alan Cook Brilliant Pad. It had the initials AC Einstein Dog. And I asked, what's that all about? And they said, we take the whole concept of the sharks learning about you in real time very seriously. So we don't want the sharks or their assistants poking around and researching you. They want to no, let this unfold just as the viewers are home or watching along. So I thought the fact that the producers went out of their way to keep everything a secret up until the moment you're in front of them was really interesting. The second thing is when the Sharks spoke for the first time, I was blown away by the volume. Just when you do anything on TV, there's an energy level because the cameras bring things down. And the Sharks, they've been doing this for years. The show's on its 10th season. It's been a decade. So you're kind of like blasted by almost a performance, which at first was, just it wasn't a normal volume for a conversation where two people are talking over coffee. And then the third thing was just pure chaos. Like so many things happen, but at one point you have Mark Cuban and Lori Greiner yelling and fighting about something. And Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary is glaring at me because he made an offer and I wanted to hear everyone else out before commenting if I would accept it or not. But he doesn't like to be kept waiting, and he was giving me the death glare. And then we had Barbara Corcoran and guest shark Alex Rodriguez. Yes, the baseball player. And Barbara is slapping A-Rod on the knee and calling him Sonny Boy. And the whole thing is just like surreal. She's like, speak up if you want to be heard over these other people on TV. And I just wish I had a camera to capture the chaos of 5 people talking and practically screaming with all of these different things that are going on. So it was a lot of fun, but I don't think anything could have prepared me for the nuttiness of that moment. And yet, as hard as the questions were, and we talked about a lot of technical things, the tone was actually very supportive and constructive. It was very engaging. And I got to say, it was just a lot of fun to be up there. So, and then with that, the other thing is, probably, watching the show, favorite shark. No, one of the questions was, who is my favorite shark? Um, you know, I've even before Mark Cuban showed up on Shark Tank, he was someone that.
Okay, that is so awesome. I love. By the way, I love your.
I think we got the delay, but we're good.
Okay, hold on. Don't say anything, because we have a delay. So I think it's about 20 seconds between us talking. So hold on one sec. Okay, first off, I'm going to go back to what I was saying, which was I love your energy as you're talking about this. I mean, you're so animated. It's fantastic. We do have a question. Like, people want to know, how did you handle Mr. Wonderful's questions? Because I know he can be a little hard ass, basically. So how did you handle that?
So, I think the biggest surprise for Mr. Wonderful was he made an offer relatively early in the taping. And I think, with anything else, I treated his offer like I would any comment anytime I'm in the room with potential investors. So the first thing I did was seek to clarify what the offer was. That also bought me a little bit of time to think about it. And, there were parts of it that were appealing and parts of it that were not. And I just kind of talked out loud my thought process. And I think not all of that made its way onto TV, but I wasn't, I don't know, I felt like there was this mutual respect. It was, I think it was a matter of doing what I thought was best for me and the company. And I don't think there was anything that was foolish. There was nothing that was, there was I didn't feel necessarily lots of pressure per se. If anything, I just felt supportive. Be thoughtful about doing what's appropriate for you and the business. The only part that I would say was a little theatrical is some sharks were describing their position. If I remember correctly, a couple came out. He interjected to say, and if the next shark goes out, then his offer was going to change, and another shark then cut him off with another offer. So once that happened, it was kind of actually fun to come back a little bit just to kind of see the sharks go after each other rather than go after me.
That's awesome. So, one of the things that I'm hearing as a takeaway is the obvious. You created a brilliant product. Clearly, they were hammering at the bit to get to it. And I mean, what an amazing experience for you. I just love this story. I hope you write about it. Actually, it would be kind of a neat thing to put on paper and keep. Um, all right, so great experience with Shark Tank, and I'm sure it provided you with a tremendous amount of exposure. I want to dive into some of the work that you're doing, which is about giving back. You know, I always have this saying, "What we do at Dog is Good. Always leave your mark," just like our dogs, always leaving the legacy behind. And you're doing some really good work in the community, particularly with uh, young adults and young students, to encourage them to create their ideas and turn those into product development. Can you share with the audience a little bit about some of these programs and what that is turning into and how that's helping young inventors follow their dreams, or also to instill more creativity and just encouraging them to find problems and solve them creatively?
So I like to give back and spend time fostering entrepreneurship and product development with two big activities. One is I guest lecture on college campuses, and I just returned from a few days on the East Coast, where not only would I give a talk on and share my experiences, what it's like as my wife as an entrepreneur and various challenges I faced, I had office hours last week. I met with 8 different student teams at Penn and at Wharton, each of whom was developing a product, a technology, or had a business plan, and was just providing like guidance and console of making suggestions of where they can focus and kind of further their efforts. While I love working with the college kids, and I spend time at Penn, at Wharton, Northwestern, MIT. Like, these are really bright, great kids. Where I probably get the most amount of fun, something I do in the city of Chicago with a group of 8th graders in the Chicago Public Schools. And this is not a private school, but this is a product development curriculum that is taught in the 8th grade, where all the kids are given a challenge or a design problem at the beginning of the year. And they have to do all the same stuff I did when we created the litter box or Brilliant Pad or other products along the way, of really understanding what is the issue and problem. They have to go out and talk to people and do their own research. They have to brainstorm different types of ideas. They have to present their ideas to other people within the classroom. They actually have to go build and execute and learn all the things that you do, and that when you try to build it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and they go through that iterative process. And then what's amazing is there's even a crowdfunding campaign for these 8th graders at the end of the school year, where they sell the product to friends and family, and that funds the classroom for the next year. Um, and there's a couple of cool things that have come out of that. One is a deal that got done with Land of Nod, part of the Crate and Barrel Company, where the kids' projects are now featured on a page in the Land of Nod catalog. And a program grew out of that called Spark Shop, where the way this thing worked at Nettle Horse Elementary School is just a almost magical grouping of parents and faculty and volunteers, and a lot had to happen to like make this curriculum work. So a couple of the leaders of the program, they're both in their early 20s, have boiled down the education to this thing called Spark Shop. It's almost like a STEM lab on wheels. And they take this Winnebago, so to speak, to different schools, and they do these in-school field trips. And what they're able to do is send some curriculum in advance of the van showing up. Then they get to bring in all these toys and do some cool things. And not only after they leave, there's curriculum that the regular teachers continue after they go. And it gives them the ability to kind of like integrate and synthesize different aspects of the curriculum. It gives them a chance to get exposure towards this whole skill set in communication and other parts of education in not a structured format, but in like an applied format. And how many of these people are really going to become designers? Don't know, but that's not the point. They get awareness of it. They get to apply this, and you see the kids get so excited that now Spark Shop, the mobile version, is in its second year, and they're going back to schools. And even seeing, I saw like pictures and videos that they just showed me at lunch the other day of the kids that recognize, like, oh, you're the Spark Shop guys. Like they are just genuinely excited to kind of get to like the second activity when they come back a year later. So what's really cool is they've almost like really treated this class as a product and experience. It's like, how do we iterate it, and how can we evolve it to touch not just 25 kids who have this magical experience each year, but how do we bring it to 2,500 kids in a given city, and then how do we expand that to many cities around the country?
I am so blown away of all the things that you are doing, and of all the things. I love the creativity behind Brilliant Pad, and I love the story about being on Shark Tank. But what hits home for me more than anything is what you are, the doors that you are opening up for the youth in our country, and the ripple effect that that's going to have. I think that that is tremendous, and really, I can, and again, I just see the love coming out in you as you're sharing this. It's such a passion, clearly, and you're having so much fun. And everybody should be having fun with doing what they love to do most, and doing that, able to make a difference. So I really love that. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions, and then if not, we were going to wrap up unless there was anything else that you wanted to share personally. This has been really fun for me, just listening and learning about the story and the development of it. I would also love to know, too, if there are future products in the works that you are able to share with us, or if not, you can just say there's future products that are currently in development. And I want to thank you before we end up with all these delays here between you and I on this conversation. I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day, because it's really been a refreshing conversation and a lot of fun, and I just love everything that you're doing. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. And I know some other questions may be coming in. In terms of new products, Brilliant Pad's been available for sale for about a year. And in that time, we've learned a great deal from our customers about what they love about the product, and how it provides freedom and flexibility, how it really cuts down on odor and the mess. And I think we've created something that's really compelling. But we've also learned that we have a good product, but can make it even better. And we've spent a lot of time improving both the machine and the rolls. We recently announced rolls that absorb more quickly than the original ones. And we added a feature along the edge of the machine to prevent small spills from dribbling and spilling onto the floor. So we now have like Brilliant Pad, version 2, with the faster absorbing rolls and the drip lip out there today. We're soon going to be introducing version 3. And version 3 adds the dog activated automatic advance feature. This is something that customers want, where the pad will advance not just when I press a button or set a timer, but to detect a dog and then leave after the dog steps off the machine. But if you've ever gone into like a public bathroom and then put your hands under the sink and the water is supposed to come out so you can wash your hands, I don't know what happens when you try it, but when I do, sometimes I get the water and sometimes I don't. And my hands are kind of moving all over the place. So we had to make some adjustments to our machine so that it would reliably see the dog and then advance accordingly when the dog leaves. And then customers came back to us and said, "That's great. Thank you for giving me what we asked for, but we didn't realize something." And some people said, "I have a dog that I need a spotless pad." We kind of call them, I have the princess dog, that if there's anything on the pad, I'm not going to go. I need perfectly clean. Then someone else said, "Well, that's great, but I don't have a princess dog. I have an economy dog." No, puppy pads are expensive, and I want I want my dog to use the pad 2 times or 3 times. I want to use up all the clean bits before we replace the pad. And we said, which one's right? They're both right. It's just different personal preference. So after we got the sensing technology dialed in, we had to make some other adjustments so that it would work for a wide range of customers. If you want perfectly clean every time, you get perfectly clean every time. If you want to use it several times before the auto advance, well, guess what? You get that too. But it all added up to, it took us longer than we thought, even with all our experience, to get it right. So we're really excited to be, we'll be introducing that, taking that out of beta and making that available for sale later this winter. And then the third thing that people have said is there anything you can do to make the rolls less expensive? And the price of the rolls is a function of our manufacturing costs. It's not, but we hear people saying it's a great product, but if there's any way to make the rolls less expensive, it would be even better. And we've kind of come up with a way. So we got something new in the works that we're hoping to introduce, a companion to the original roll with something more of an economy roll that'll help make the product more appealing to even a wider audience. So we have lots of stuff in the works, but we're continuing to improve what we have to make a great product even better.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has just been amazing. And I love how you're taking all the customer feedback to iterate another round of improvement and just continue to grow and expand your product line. So you are an amazing entrepreneur. I am uber impressed, and I look forward to possibly connecting at some of the future trade shows and staying in touch. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Alan, you can reach out to him via Brilliant Pad. We've put in all the links. Please follow them on Instagram. Please go to Amazon and get yourself one of these if you need it, because you will absolutely really be impressed and enjoy using it. And stay tuned also for next week when we are back here on Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Go to the Dog is Good Lifestyle group and join there. And don't forget, your dog is dying to tell you their words of wisdom every Monday. So go to furcoveredwisdom.com where you can get your notes of inspiration weekly from your very own dogs, however many have their voice that they want to share with you. And Alan, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience with the delay. I appreciate you, and everybody else, have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been a blast. Love to do it again.